Make sure you tune in this week as First Take has the top prospects in the NFL draft, stopping by running back Dalvin Cook. Will be here Thursday. Safety Jamal Adams pays a visit on Friday. Tune in all week here on First Take as we get you set for the draft. Last month, the NFL owners voted to move the Raiders from Oakland to Las Vegas, upsetting the vast majority of fans in the Bay Area. But their fourth-year quarterback Derek Carr doesn't think true fans will abandon the team. Listen up.
We're not going to split up like you've seen, other cities do. We're not going to do things like that. For the ones that do, I don't really believe that they are true Raider fans. I feel they're hurt. I'm with you. I hurt too. But at the same time, we're all in this together, and we're just going to do it together.
Carr says fans in Oakland should keep rooting for the team. Excuse me. Max, do you have a problem with Carr's comments?
Before I answer, I want to hear Stephen A. do this first, because whatever problem I have a feeling will pale in comparison to the problem Stephen A. has. You got a problem with this, Stephen A.?
I got a big-time problem with it. I'm
appalled.
I am appalled by what I heard Derek Carr said. Now, he's a stud. I love his game. I'm not knocking anything about him as a person either. But how dare you say what you said about the Raiders fans? Raider Nation was betrayed. Now, granted, pretty much primarily by city officials in Oakland who couldn't get their act together and get it done. But the Los Angeles Raiders, Max, from the time that they went to the Super Bowl in 2002, have not had better than a 500 record. And that was only twice.
Stephen A. The Oakland Raiders.
Excuse me. The fact is, from 2003, they've been in Oakland ever since. They're from 2003 up until this very past season. They couldn't even give you a 9-7 record. All of that time, they missed the playoffs. And you get to the playoffs 1 year. Your breath smell like Similac, wet behind the ears, Derek Carr, who just became relevant in terms of a postseason. And by the way, he was hurt, so he couldn't even play in a damn playoff game, which means that he hasn't been in a playoff yet. This fan base has suffered, and you're trying to tell me that you skip high and dry and you announce that you are leaving town on them, that, oh my goodness, if you lost fans, they're not real fans. You could say, hey, if they should stay with us. We don't want them to leave and stuff like that. But to literally say they're not real fans with the nonsense and the ineptitude that they have tolerated for more than a decade while still supporting this franchise, he's got a lot of nerve saying that.
Stephen A.,
that's wrong.
It's not the players' fault, though. It wasn't their decision.
Who said anything about that? I'm talking about Derek Carr saying what he said.
You see, Molly, that's why I had to redirect to Stephen A., because that's the kind of righteous indignation I was looking for. You're overreacting a little bit, Stephen A. Look, of course you're right that when you break up with someone, it's not your job to tell them how they should feel about it. The Raiders said, see you later, and Oakland fans are going to be upset, and Derek Carr should just be saying, oh, my God, I can only imagine what these fans are going through, and da-da-da-da-da. We hope that they remain fans even when we're in Vegas. That would have been an optimal answer, but you know what it really indicates? Not just that Derek Carr is, what do you say, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, right? I mean, it's not just that. It's that he's a baller, and he's on a team, a powerhouse team. And basically, when I read between the lines, I see Derek Carr saying, we're going to do a lot of winning. We're going to ball. Come along with us for the ride, Oakland Raiders fans. You're not going to regret it. And by the way, Raiders fans remain Raiders fans even after they ditch the town. Think of how many Raiders fans there still are in Los Angeles. You do radio in L.A. now, Stephen A., and I did radio in L.A. for 5.5 years, sports talk radio. And when you talk about the most popular and talked about and polarizing franchises in California, the Raiders are way up there. Like, the Lakers run L.A., but after the Lakers, the Raiders are like competing with the Dodgers and the Bruins and stuff and the Trojans. I mean, people still care. So I have a feeling people will still care in Oakland, even when the Raiders, that brand seems to travel, even when the Raiders go to Vegas, particularly if and when they're balling. And Derek Carr, who's a rising talent, who looks like a future MVP type of player, maybe a champion, is saying, come along with us for the ride.
That is irrelevant because it's about what he said. And I'm throwing shade on Mollywood for a second here
Go
because,
for it.
once again, you ask a question and then you try to turn around and slide something different up in there. It's not his fault. That's not the point. The point is, what nerve do you as a player have to say to a fan base that has supported you for years when you stunk? And you decide 1 year, you sit up there and you have a successful season. Now you're about to skip town to head to Vegas. I didn't say Vegas, I said Vegas, okay? You decided to head there. Max's second home for crying out loud. And they're not, and they're supposed to support you no matter what.
What would have made you happy? Tell me, how should he have handled it?
Here's what would have made me happy. I hope they don't leave us. We love them.
Right.
They deserve better than what they got. And we'll always love them.
He's not Stephen A. Smith. He's not a wordsmith. He wasn't as eloquent as you maybe would have handled it.
He gave a suboptimal answer.
I'm sorry. When did we accuse him of being a wordsmith? Since you want to throw that word out there, did I accuse him of being a wordsmith? I thought I talked about the quarterback sitting there telling a fan base, you're not really a fan.
Right.
If you desert us.
Listen, we all know Sawatsky Technique, who's an interview guru, by the way. If you want to know why all the interviews on ESPN, so much of ESPN are so good, that's Sawatsky Technique. Now, give credit where credit's due. And he'll talk about trigger words in an interview. You say that word and people see red and they'll no longer engage with what you're saying.
You're not really fans.
Because they latch on to the trigger word. That's what Derek Carr is guilty of. Real fans. How dare a young quarterback who really just got there question the real fandom of those fans. Yes, it was a trigger word. His response was suboptimal.
No trigger word.
But if you really look at it, he's just saying, guys, we're going to ball in Vegas. You might as well come with.
No, he's not. That's not what he's saying. He's saying you either root for us or you were never with us to begin with.
And I'm with it.
He's questioning their loyalty to the Raiders when, in fact, the Raiders haven't been loyal to their fan base. They're loyal to good business.
He's just trying to fire him up, get him pumped for the season, get him back on track, on the right ship.
They got 2 more years.
You're the expert Giants fan. You would know. Okay.
Let's move on. Speaking of the NFC East.